So I'm just about to ring one of the candidates for the AFD, so the Alternative for Deutschland. He's willing to talk to us about why he thinks the AFD is performing so strongly right now. So we will give him a little ring.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to speak to you. How are you doing?
Fine.
Good. I have you on speakerphone because I'm in my hotel room and it's allowing me to speak to you more easily. So I'm now in Munich.
Okay.
And how are you doing? How's your preparations for the elections?
Oh Jesus. We are very short in people supporting the public story, the public show-off of our party. For example, we have info booths where the people are standing, and actually our info booths are more lively than the other parties' info booths, which is very positive.
So your information booths, just for our international audience who may not understand, but your information booths, they are being well supported? People are turning up to hear information about the AFD?
Yes. We do have problems in having too few people to play all these booths we would like to play. So from time to time we have to skip. Because although we have 230 members in Nuremberg, and we are the biggest, Kreisverband. What is a Kreisverband? No idea.
Oh, a biggest city. Group. Yes, the biggest team. City.
Yeah. We have a lot of people who are very passive and not so active, and there's only a few number of active people who are really running the show.
And can I ask, in Nuremberg, what percentage do you hope to achieve in the polls or when people vote? What number would be a good number for the AFD?
Well, the average we hope to achieve in Bavaria is 15. The bad story is that Nuremberg is a completely red city. Even worse, the northern part, which seems to be my part. You know, there are 4 segments in Nuremberg relevant for this type of election. So there are 4 segments in Nuremberg, and my part is set to go over to the Green Party, and all the rest will remain at the Red Party, I think. So Nuremberg is a strange city, and so we will have less than the average, unfortunately.
Yes, and when you talk about the Red Party, you're talking about
the socialists, socialists.
Yeah. And tell me, in terms of the vote that you would expect for the AFD, in the UK, we have people who are shy Tory supporters, people who won't admit that they will vote Conservative because it's not seen as being, liberal-minded, it's not seen as elite, it's seen as being wrong. Do you think that's the same here in Germany? Is what people say outwardly very different to what they think inwardly in terms of the number of people that will support you that might not admit to it?
Well, that's our hope, and the likelihood is very big because general public media is very suppressive against our party. I'll tell you an example. On Saturday, on an info booth, a good dear friend of mine showed up, not stopping at the booth, but just walking by. And this guy, he's married, he's about 70 years old, and we had 3 holidays together for skiing in Austria about 7 years ago. So he knows me, I know him, I know he's a little on the left wing side. So I left the booth and I went to him and he said, stop, you're a racist, you're a fascist, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. So basically he quit friendship.
That was it, your friendship with him over?
Yeah, he said so, and then he turned away and left, and I was a little bit shocked because the public information, which is rinsed into the brains of the people, apparently is more important than personal contact. So this is the way Germany works now.
And that's upsetting for you. You've been on ski holidays together, you know each other well, but now in the street he will sort of denounce you. There's a view here that for the AFD there's a lot of monitoring by the state intelligence services, and that there's been a sense that if you support the AFD you will be under surveillance. Do you think that's correct?
Well, how I only can make my assumptions. I mean, I'm very openly talking on the telephone. So whenever I'm ringing up people, I really am a little bit provocant by stating the keywords rather at the beginning of the discussion.
Get them in early.
To make as many secret services click on the line as possible. But I don't give a damn shit.
I understand that kind of sense of feeling of not caring. I was watching the news last night, my German rather letting me down, to say I believe the AFD are struggling as well because of the nature of teachers in schools that are trying to...
Oh yeah, that's that story. Yeah, that started in Hamburg.
Can you help explain the story to me? Is it that teachers are trying to force their students to think a certain way?
Yes, definitely. And I mean, teachers may have their opinion, of course. We have nothing against a teacher who has his own opinion, and we assume how they are, but we leave them. I mean, that's their way, as long as they keep it in their mind, or if once stated from them, they need to tag it with the label, hey, that's my political opinion. Okay? The story ends, however, when a teacher tries to influence people at school. And, for example, we have the very left-wing organization, what is a Gewerkschaft? A union called Verdi, and teachers make part of it, and Verdi is a lengthened arm of the SPD, of the Social Socialist Party and the lefts. So they are very aggressive in showing methods how AFD staff members can be mobbed, how family members can be mobbed, and there was even a brochure which was online more than a week until we found it, and we said, hey, look what Verdi is doing here. They're completely violating their statement. They have an own, not contract. Their own
It's very similar. Yeah, sorry, to the UK. It's a very similar problem that we have. So the Labour Party and the unions, and then the teacher union is very well tied to the Labour Party, very similar. Let me ask you a question about the AFD more generally. In terms of support for the AFD, what is it that why are people voting AFD? Is it because of Merkel and her migrant policy in 2015? Is that the main motivation?
Well, I think so that people are realizing, hey, this is a big wave that's coming up, and this is overrunning whole Europe. So they are beginning to feel what everybody else from abroad is immediately seeing, that there's a huge wave of migration. I mean, everybody is fearing any kind of change, that's for sure. But this kind of change definitely will not do the better for the whole Europe. So when I talk to people from abroad, I deal a lot with Indians. They say, look, this Merkel lady has done severe damage to whole Europe for more than a decade or more than two generations. And people in Germany tend to sleep. They do not want to be woken up. So basically the objective of the AFD is to make people wake up and to participate more actively into the political process. So this was one of my ideas. I wanted to make a party, if I may say so, because I'm one of the founder guys in Bavaria, not in general, but in Bavaria. So I've been living in Switzerland, and what I want to have is the bloody lazy German. Wake him up, shake him.
Shake the German, wake him from his slumber and make him see.
We are a little bit ahead of the Eastern totalitarian states, in the sense that there's no military police showing up using your gun. Although I can tell you another story there. we are coming closer to that point as well. Because we have a youngster organization, the Young Alternative, it's called. And they made a happening yesterday. If you Google it, you will find it. They made these chalk from the spray, and they made a painting, I think in Munich, in front of the buildings of the government. And they said, look, these are the people killed because of Merkel and that kind of stuff. Okay, so it was all done with the spray.
Oh, like in chalk on the pavement or something. So the youth movement of the Alternative for Deutschland put the German people who have been killed by migrants.
So it was some object of art or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction by the state was that at 5:30 a.m., 5 people from this organization had a visit from Stadtteil police.
Oh my word!
Which is wearing weapons at this event, of course. And they got telephones confiscated and parties confiscated and everything. So
it's very much like the Stasi of the old years.
It is. So and Merkel is ruining herself by these kind of actions, and she doesn't realize it because she feels the threat at the
But essentially, your point there being that some youth members of your organisation created a sort of artwork outside the government offices. It was a kind of representation of the issue with migrants because of the deaths of innocent Germans, and then they were visited at 5:30 in the morning in their homes by what I would call the Stasi, but by government police.
Well, it was police, of course, but the method. I mean,
frightening. Wolfgang, I have to run because I have another meeting, but I'm going to call you back because I want to come and see you in Nuremberg. I'm determined of it. Listen.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
Don't be afraid. It's only Katie. Listen, thank you so much. I guess you out campaigning now for the next couple of days.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen. We wish you the very best. I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take care. So interesting speaking to Wolfgang. So he's a representative. He's one of the founder members, actually, of the AFD in Germany. And just, somewhat chilling, really, that story that the youth movement of the AFD, which are on the right, people call them the far right, but they're just the right, were making a protest outside the Parliament building. And then because they were there, I guess they would have put names of the victims of people killed by migrants, just like you may have seen in the news in Chemnitz. They were then visited in their homes at 5:30 in the morning by the intelligence and police officers of Germany. And, it's that feeling of the Stasi clamping down. And that's what you hear from Germans off camera, off record, is that if you speak out in this country, you will get a visit from the police or the intelligence. People here feel watched, and you can really feel it when you're here. So I look forward to catching up with more of those individuals and bringing you some real truths from here in Bavaria. To see more of our work, to see more of my investigations here in Bavaria, go to rebelbavaria.com. And if you can help us crowdfund any of our expenses, we're staying in very basic accommodations. Please do go on, and any support you can give to help us tell the truths that Angela Merkel doesn't want you to hear, we'd be very grateful for your support. I am here to bring you the news that the mainstream media won't. To join me in my reports, go to rebelbavaria.com. And if you can help chip in with any of our costs just to cover our basic expenses, I'd really appreciate it. Go to rebelbavaria.com.